Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 and a brand new experiment where we're going to take a look at what would happen if every single player in the entire game was a free agent. Now we're not talking about just the Premier League or the Bundesliga, this is every player in every league as far as I'm aware is now a free agent. Now if you would like to play with this database yourself or download it, there is a link in the description, make sure you click down there. All the instructions, it's just a case of downloading a save file and then dropping it into the right file on your computer. It's nothing more complicated than that, and the instructions are included when you click the link down there. Before we go ahead, do make sure to hit that like button if you're looking forward to this experiment, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. I am sure there will be a couple more parts to this experiment, and we've just started a new playthrough series with Manchester United Legends, which you can check out. That went out yesterday, the first episode of that, so make sure to take a look. But let's go ahead and have a look at what is going on now that we've let every player go. So if, for instance, we click on Arsenal, you can see it still says they've got players, but that's just because we haven't progressed the saver tool. When you go to their senior squad, there isn't anybody in it. There's nobody under their under 23s, there's nobody in the under 18s. They are all gone, and that is the same for every single team in the Premier League. If we go down to the Championship and look at Barnsley, look at their senior squad, you can see they're all gone. There is nobody in there. Even the under 18s are emptied out. Let's drop down to League 2 and have a look at Accrington Stanley. I wonder if they've got any players. Nope, all greyed out. Every single league. I think even perhaps in the National League, which I don't actually have loaded up because I'm trying to speed up the amount of time it takes to go forward. But yeah, even AFC Field, well, I always butcher the pronunciation of that. I'm not even going to try. But even they don't have any players. Now we can go over to perhaps the Turkish 1 League and look at Sivasspor. If we look at their senior squad, all greyed out. It doesn't matter where you go, even the Finnish Premier League, Maraham, I mean, these ones could well be greyed out anyway, but they just don't have anybody in their team of any value. It'd be different if some of those players had value, but none of them have any value because there are no players available. So we could have a look at the Spanish First Division. If we look at Barcelona and the players there, you can see they're all gone. There is absolutely no one left. So this is a complete reset for every team in Europe as to how they're going to rebuild from this position. I'm pretty sure the managers are gone as well, are they? No, the managers are still there. So they do still have their managers and their staff in charge. It's just the players that have disappeared. So what I'm going to do now in this part is we're just going to go forward 1 year into the future. We're going to see where the big clubs are, how they've managed to do in their first season, if there's been much change, and where the biggest players are. If there are players that you want to see where they've ended up, do leave a comment, and in the next part I'll search them out. I'll make a little list and I'll start to go through where some of the big players are, because off the top of my head I'm not going to remember most of the big names. So do leave a comment down below if you'd like to do that, and remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support of you guys, and hopefully we can get a load of likes on this video and show there's still some support for Football Manager experiments out there. But let's go forward and see how the European football is starting to pan out. Well, we are now 1 year into the future, and unfortunately the league table doesn't look all that different. Chelsea have won the league, United, City, Arsenal, Liverpool all next, Everton and Spurs a bit further behind. But I mean, you could be confused for just thinking this is a normal Premier League season, and I suppose that's not too unsurprising because the big clubs are the ones with the wage budgets. They're going to bring the best players in, and you can see at the bottom there, Crystal Palace, 4 points, 1 win, 1 draw. We've got to have a look at who they brought in there because it can't be very good. If we look at their transfer history for last season, they only brought in 5 players, which would be why they finished with only 1 win and 1 draw. But they did manage to get Ryan Sessegnon in there. If we have a look at the league title winners, Chelsea, though, and their transfer history, this is why they won it. They brought in Donnarumma, Mbappe, Lewandowski, Umtiti, Romagnoli, Chan. They got Paul Pogba, Sterling, Ali, Costa, Lamar, decent defenders in there as well. They have brought in a sensational team. Chelsea, Everton brought in Keylor Navas, Tom Cleverley. They've not exactly gone for the biggest names in world football. They did get Berbatov and Young. They're bringing the old United team back together, and they did get Ivan Rakitic and Giorgio Chiellini, which is something at least. Now Leeds also in the Premier League. I suppose they've just been promoted, which is why they're showing up in this league. But you can see why they've done so well. They've brought in quite a lot of players. Not too many big names. They did get Ivor Fossum and Luke Shaw last season, which will have helped. Leicester, former Premier League champions, didn't really do too well in this transfer market. No big names coming in for them, but Liverpool did manage to do alright. They brought in Jamie Vardy, Aaron Ramsey's in there, Asenio, Nasser Chadley's in there, Leroy Sané as well, Belotti, Kandreva, Juan Mata, Vasaico, Howarders, Nainggolan. They're all at the bottom there, the really big names. Man City did very well. David De Gea came in. They got Neymar in as well. Toni Kroos is there, Kovacic, Alexandro, Icardi, Bale, Eric Dyer, Saul in there as well. They've signed some very, very good players. And then Manchester United as well are going to have done the same. They brought Cristiano Ronaldo back to the team. So Cristiano Ronaldo back at Old Trafford. They've got Courtois in there, Koscielny's in there, Iker Casillas, Aubameyang, Ramos, Kyle Walker, Willian, Isco, Son, Verratti, Falcao, John Stones. They've done really good business there, bringing in a lot of very good players. Middlesbrough brought in Peter Crouch as their first signing, why wouldn't you? And then further down, virtually nobody of any major note. Newcastle, surprised they brought anybody in at all. They got Walcott, Petr Cech, Lindelof, not the biggest names. Lewis Cook's obviously a very good prospect in the game. Southampton, probably going to sell half these to Liverpool pretty soon, but they've got Lascelles in there, Kieran Clark, Jack Grealish. Not a great team there. Stoke, they've got Rooley in, Nigel de Jong, Steve Cook. Again, I mean, some of these are really weak transfer policies, but I guess with their budgets, it's the best that they could do. Swansea bringing in pretty much nobody of any real value. At least teams like Everton did make a couple of big signings. Now Spurs have brought in Cenk Tosun, Mesut Ozil, Rafinha, pretty big names there. They got Joe Hart, Desiglio, Aspas. Otherwise, it's not the strongest team. Their existing team would have been much stronger. Watford only brought in about 6 or 7 players. I don't understand why teams have done that. West Brom brought in quite a few more, but again, not the biggest names in football. West Ham, again, not really going for it. Why are you signing Phil Bardsley for? And they did bring in Giovinco, but Arsenal, not the greatest. Kondogbia. They did get Sergio Aguero, Moise Kean, Bernat, Grotska, Cavani. They've saved it at the bottom here. They've got Slabhead, Harry Maguire. Rodriguez, Forsberg's very good. Oxlade-Chamberlain as well. So they've done all right business there. Aston Villa brought in Darren Bent, who used to play for them. We did get Alex Murray, a great goalkeeping prospect. Bournemouth, not too many there. Burnley as well. And then we're back to Chelsea. So the Premier League, they've done all right. I mean, it's not the best collection of footballers in the entire world, it has to be said. If we look at that sort of stages for last season again, you can see Chelsea by far and away the best team in the league, and you can see they've got a lot of value in this side. This is why they won it, because they just have probably the best team. In fact, without doubt, they have the best team. Lewandowski leading the line for them, doing very, very well. He managed to get 24 league goals and a 7.84 rating. But when you've got Paul Pogba backing you up and Mbappe out on the wing as well, Dele Alli in midfield too, Lamar, Sterling, it's just an incredible team with a very good defensive unit, and Donnarumma in goal will have helped that as well. So Chelsea doing very, very well and winning the Premier League title in the first season. Now in Spain, what we had going here, we can see Real Madrid have won it with 100 points. Deportivo La Coruña in 4th place. They've come out of nowhere to do that. Top scorer, highest average rating is Harry Kane. Top goal scorer is Bas Dost, who signed for Valencia, but Kane was just 1 goal behind him. Griezmann's now at Barcelona as well. So let's jump straight into these teams. Real Madrid, still managed by Zinedine Zidane in the game. They brought in Alexis Sanchez, Firmino, Higuain, Gertz is in there. They've got N'Golo Kante as well. I've always thought, I mean, I know they've got Casemiro, but I actually think Kante, much like when they brought in Makelele, would be a fantastic player in their team, and I don't understand why they haven't looked at signing him. They've also got Yarmolenko, who's just signed for West Ham. Parejo, Nzonzi, Leonardo Bonucci's in there as well, Daniele De Rossi. Real Madrid done quite good business there, which is why they have won the league, but only 4 points clear of Barcelona. And we can see here Harry Kane, their big man up front, with Griezmann alongside him. That is a dangerous partnership with Sane, Thomas Muller and Bernardo Silva all on the wing. They also got Milinkovic Savic, who is one of the best midfielders in Europe. De Vrij is in there as well. Eric Bailly, Azpilicueta in defence. This is why Barcelona have done well. I imagine they were challenging for the Champions League as well. They also had Danny Rose as vice captain, is an interesting one. Valencia, we'll just have a quick look at their squad. Then we can see Julian Draxler, leading player here. Varane, Bastos in there as well. Sarabia, who is... No, not the one I'm thinking of there. Piqué, Dembele, Munir, Milner. I'm not sure why they've signed James Milner, but they have just an interesting little setup there, but no Messi in there. I'm assuming that Lionel Messi has gone to PSG. If I had to put money on it, I would say that Lionel Messi, he's actually at Spurs. Did I miss that in the transfers for Spurs? When did he join them? Let's just have a look at his career stats. He did actually join them possibly right at the end of last season, because he only played 8 international games, so he must have just joined them this season, having been a free agent pretty much the entire time there. So Lionel Messi may have been a free agent for an entire year before actually being picked up by anybody. But we can see, just having a quick look through the transfer history of these clubs, I'm going to do this very quickly, so pause the screen on any of these clubs if you want to have a bigger look. I'm just going to cast my eye down them and look for big names. Fellaini there joining them. Bilbao, nobody major in there. Luis Suarez did go to Atletico Madrid. Rodriguez did more. They went for high quality, but not very many of them, which is interesting. Alaves, bringing in Remy, Harry Kane at Barcelona, we've seen already. Coruña did very well. They brought in a lot of good players, not necessarily the world's biggest names, but certainly above average players, which is why they've managed to finish 4th. Eibar brought in Nicholas Bentner, so they should be winning the league. And then Espanyol, nobody there really. Getafe, again, very few number of players. I don't understand why teams are signing so few players, but you can see Las Palmas as well doing the same thing. Leganes did bring in quite a few more, managed to get a 13th place finish, but no big names in there. Levante, again, struggling because they didn't go for the full contingent. Malaga brought in quite a few. Max Gradel, Gabi, but no big names. Now, Real Madrid, we've already looked at there, but they have got Roberto Firmino in the team as well, which I didn't spot before. Vincent Kompany as well. Real Betis got Wesley Schneider, but other than that, not the greatest. And Real Sociedad as well, not doing too well. Michy Batshuayi was in there. Sevilla, I would expect them to do well, and they brought in Matuidi, Strootman, Lallana, Pizzi. They've got a few good names in there, but again, not any high caliber players. We've already looked at Valencia. Celta Vigo, Andre is a good player from Benfica, but otherwise not too much. Or is he? No, Andre might be from Porto, actually. Villarreal in there as well, we've already looked at. So that's it for the La Liga teams. If we go and have a look at the Bundesliga next, we will go through this a little bit quicker because there is so much to look at, which is why it's important you let me know in the comments if there are players you want to see. But finally, we have a bit of an upset here. Bayern Munich finishing way down in 4th place for some reason. Dortmund actually winning the league here. So if we have a look at this Dortmund squad, we can see right at the top, Boateng, Thiago, they put in Real Madrid's former players. Lacazette, Denis Suarez, Thovan's in there, Kevin Volland. I don't know why Florian Thovan's worth 56 million, but apparently he is. Other big names in there as well. Not as strong as some of the Premier League and La Liga teams, but if we have a look at Wolfsburg, they managed to finish 2nd, and they've got Manuel Neuer in the team, Carrasco, Jesse Lingard's in there, Promes in there, Kramaric. They've done very well there. Manuel Neuer was going to got them to 2nd place on his own. They're only 1 point off winning the league as well. And then you've got Borussia Mönchengladbach. They've got Joshua Kimmich, Sul. You can see that the Bayern Munich players being spread out across these top German teams here. And then finally, if we look at Bayern and try and figure out what on earth went wrong for them, you can see they have got Coutinho, Morata, Rafinha, Martial, Felipe Anderson, Ilkay Gundogan, but Ross Barkley's in there, Husay's in there. They've got a really good team, Ruben Neves as well, but not able to do well in the league. No idea why. I assume they'll be coming back pretty soon. Leverkusen going to assign some decent players too. Ciro Immobile's in there, to Sturgeon, Pulisic. They've done pretty well bringing in some good names, but missed out on the top 4. So the German First Division there, quite an interesting one to be honest. Now Syria, let's have a look at what's going on here. This might be, I'll have a look at Ligue 1 as well afterwards, but you can see Juventus have won this league. You've got Olivier Giroud as the Golden Boot winner with AC Milan, which is quite funny. Let's jump in. Juventus did manage to retain their title despite a mass unemployment hitting football. Javi Martinez is their biggest name. João Mario, Abubakar, Çalhanoğlu, Benzema's in there. A decent team, but they've done well to win the league. That is not the strongest I've ever seen. Napoli managed to finish second, just 4 points off them, and you can see why. Lukaku, Castillo, Delete is in there. This is a very, very good side, a very strong throughout team rather than world-class superstars. And then AC Milan, who relied on Olivier Giroud to get their goals this season. They got Florenzi up top, Lloris is in there. Giroud's actually quite down, but Brozovic and Mandzukic, 2 Croatians in there, and Lovren actually. And just some very good players throughout. So AC Milan doing very well there. And finally, if we have a quick look at Inter Milan, there you can see Verdi, Leno, Zahavi, Tyson. Not the greatest team, to be honest. So the Italian league shaking up quite well. Finally, there is one last massive team that we're going to want to have a look at, and that is PSG, possibly Monaco as well. If we go back, we can see PSG did win the league. They only lost 1 match all season. So let's see how they did that. They have De Bruyne, they have Hazard, Dybala, Kaito, Asensio, Eriksen, Laporte, Alderweireld, Correa, Fabinho, Van Dijk. That's why they've won the league, only losing 1 game. That is a sensational squad they pulled together. Picking up the Belgians for the most part. Maybe Kaito in there as well. So no surprise why PSG have done so well. Monaco weren't actually that far behind them. And they have Gabriel Jesus in there. I know nowhere near as good as the PSG squad, but still a very, very good team, which is why Monaco have done so well. So I'll stop looking there through the leagues, otherwise this is going to take ages. But we will have a look at the Champions League, where we're likely to have seen some sort of upset. You can see PSG have won this already. If we drop to last season and start out with the quarterfinals, you can see Barcelona beat Bayern Munich over the 2 legs. Real Madrid beat Liverpool, Chelsea and PSG also going through. So no upsets in there really. Semi-finals, Barcelona did beat Real Madrid 2-1 on aggregate despite losing at home. And PSG managed to win 4-2, 3-0 in the second leg, overturned their defeat. And then in the final, PSG did beat Barcelona 2-1 there to win the European Championship or the European Cup. You can see with the Europa League in the quarterfinals here, Celtic actually made it all the way to the quarterfinals. I imagine they probably picked up a few good players making the most of their position. They did actually sign Patrick Bamford, Hal Robson-Kanu as well. Quite a lot of Scottish players. They have overturned their team quite a lot, but they've brought in some good, solid players there and no doubt won the league. Hoffenheim and PSV in here as well. I'm sure PSV also probably signed some good players. They've got Klaassen, Redkick, picking up players in their price range, which is quite interesting. They didn't go for any big names. Roma in the quarterfinals. In the semis, it was Benfica and Arsenal that won, and in the final, Arsenal did manage to win it 2-1, a bit of European success for Arsenal finally. And so I think that might be, I'm going to have a quick look at the Golden Ball actually. If we see who's won this, we can see it was Alexis Sanchez for Real Madrid, ahead of Harry Kane, and then Cristiano Ronaldo further behind, 23 goals for him. Alexis Sanchez has done it just playing 16 games, which is an absolute joke. There must be a 20-game minimum on that, surely. But he has won it, the World Golden Ball. If we look at Footballer of the Year, that went to Philippe Coutinho at Bayern Munich, who wasn't even in the top 3 for the Golden Ball. But you can see him there. World Player of the Year went to Alexis Sanchez, as did the Golden Ball. And the World Team of the Year, Harry Kane up front, Sanchez, Lewandowski, Ronaldo, Coutinho, Mesut Ozil, Marcelo, Boateng, Hummels, Carvajal and Courtois in goal. Now if we just have a look at the shortlist for the entire world as well, you can see Neymar, the world's most expensive player, De Bruyne, Kane, Griezmann, Lewandowski, Hazard. We've seen all of these already. Gareth Bale at City, Isco at Man United. Salah also went to Man United, Messi at Spurs, Royce at Arsenal. Other big names here. Higuain went back to Real Madrid. Eriksen's at PSG. Ousmane Dembele is at City. I'm just trying to find any really surprising transfers down here, and it just doesn't look like there are any. For the most part, this is pretty predictable. But if there are any players you want me to look up in the next episode, do comment down below. If you're enjoying this experiment and would like to see another part, do drop a like on the video. It lets me know you do want more parts to this experiment. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new and looking forward to more parts. But until next time, see ya!